Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a story time. I'm going to be talking to you guys about my labor and delivery. The reason why I decided to do this video is because first of all, as a first timer, I was super scared of labor, and before I obviously went into labor, I was doing a lot of research, and I was trying to watch other people's videos on their experience was with labor, and in particular people who have been induced, because also, if you watched my previous videos, you'd know that I had cholestasis when I was pregnant, and due to the cholestasis, I had to be induced. So I wasn't going to go into labor naturally, and I was super scared. I did not know what to expect. And second, because I have been getting a few messages from people who have cholestasis or who have watched my previous video where I talked to you guys about when I was diagnosed with cholestasis, and they've messaged me asking, if I had my baby and how labor was, and how it was to be induced. And that's pretty much why I wanted to talk to you guys about this, so you have a better idea. So let's go ahead and get right into it, because I don't want to make this video super long, and I don't know how long it's going to take me to tell this story. If you hear any noise or if you see me looking down, it's because I do have my baby here with me. He's usually a pretty chill baby, but of course mommy decides to do something for herself and he starts to become fuzzy. So I have him here with me. Okay. So my induction date was June 5th. My doctor had told me, okay, we have an appointment for you at the hospital. Your induction date is June 5th, and your induction appointment is at 8 in the morning. I woke up at like 6 in the morning. I took a shower, and the reason why I also woke up at 6 in the morning is not only to get ready, but also to call the hospital, because I was supposed to call them to let them know that I had an appointment at 8 and I wanted to make sure they had my room available. So I call at 6 in the morning. Actually, mind you, the doctor said call them an hour before, so I was supposed to call at 7. But I was like, you know what, I don't want to risk not having a room, so I'm gonna call at 6 to make sure. So I call at 6, and I let them know that I have an appointment, and they tell me we don't have any rooms available. So I was kind of upset. I was kind of sad. I was like, okay, so what do I need to do now, or what's gonna happen now? They asked me to call back in an hour to check to see if they had a room available. So I did. I waited. I still got ready, and just in case, because they said that they could also call me if anything becomes available. So I still got ready just in case I got a call, or just to be ready for the next time that I call. So then I call at 7, and they once again say they don't have a room available. And they said, well, call around 10. And this was at 7, so I'm like, oh my gosh, like, are you kidding me? So I was super upset at this point, because I was like, I was supposed to be there at 8, and you're telling me to call back till 10 to see if there's even a room available. So I was already upset, but I said, okay, well, whatever, what am I gonna do? So then I call back at 10, and the lady, the nurse tells me, like, no, you know what, we don't have any availability right now. So just go ahead and wait for us to call. So then 5 minutes after I hung up with the nurse, I get a phone call, and they said, you know what, we do have a room available, just go ahead and come now. I was already ready, so I just grabbed my things and I left, and I ended up getting there like at 10:30ish, I think. Oh, it's okay, puppy, it's okay. So I get there, and it's a process, okay? When you get to the hospital, it's a whole process. You have to check in, you have to fill out paperwork. I don't know if this is for every hospital, but it was for the hospital where I gave birth. You have to check in, you have to fill out paperwork, and then you get a room. So while all of this happened, I don't know, like an hour went by, and I ended up getting the room like around 11:30ish. And around that time, as soon as I went in there, there was a nurse there. She told me to change into the gown. And then she said, and then I'll come back in, I'll let you know, we'll talk about what's the plan, you know, how we're going to start. I'll go kick off the induction. So by this time, it was still 11:30ish, 11:45ish, or around that time. She comes back after I change. She comes back into the room and she tells me, okay, so I spoke to the doctor and we're just gonna go ahead and start you with the pill. So what this pill is gonna do, this is what she was saying. She said what this pill is gonna do is it's supposed to make your body start contracting, and we'll see if you make any progress with the pill. They gave it to me at 12, and they said we're gonna check you in 4 hours. So we're gonna check you in 4 hours to see if there's any progress, to see if you dilated at all. So they come to check me around 4 o'clock. They come to check me around 4 o'clock, and I'm only at half a centimeter, not even a full centimeter. And this was June 5th at 4 o'clock. So then the nurse left again, and then she came back, and a few minutes later, and she said, okay, well, we're discussing whether we should give you another dose of the pill, or if we should do the balloon method. I was like, the balloon method? Okay, so I had never heard of that before. And she said, so pretty much what we're gonna do is, if we decide to do that, we're gonna insert a balloon into your cervix, and we're gonna inflate it. The goal is for the balloon to come out on its own, and once the balloon comes out on its own, then you should be at about 4 centimeters dilated once the balloon comes out. So then she tells me, okay, well, you know what, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna go ahead and do the balloon method. For anybody that has never gotten this done before, so it is quite uncomfortable. It is actually very uncomfortable. At this point, I was not dilated at all. I had no pain medication. Guy comes in. I did not want to see, and plus you can't see because they lower your bed like all the way, so you're like all the way laid back, and then your legs are just open for him to, you know, do what he's supposed to do. While he's doing the procedure, I think it took, I felt to me like it took forever, but it probably took about, I don't know, maybe 5 to 8 minutes for him to finish up. But while this was happening, I was holding on. My boyfriend was holding my hand, and I was just holding his hand so hard because it hurt. Like it hurt. And I was honestly like trying to be so brave. I was trying to be so strong, and I was just breathing and breathing and breathing through it. I was just breathing through it. And then as soon as he was done, for some reason, I don't know if it was because I was holding it, I was trying to be so strong, and I was just holding it in, and I was just breathing and you know, just trying to focus, that as soon as he was done and he told me he was done, I just busted out crying. Like, I was just crying. I don't know, I got very sentimental. I was just crying. Once that happened, I stopped crying. I asked the nurse, how long does it usually take for this balloon to come out? The nurse looked at me and she said, oh, it takes anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours. Anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours. So I was like, oh God. I was like, thank you. Yes. I was like, so in 2 hours, I'm going to be 4 centimeters. Or so I thought. So then they inserted the balloon at 5 o'clock, and they had me laying down this whole time. Now, for the first few hours that the balloon was in me, I didn't know that there was like a string or something attached to it, and that thing, or that little rope or that string or whatever, was taped to my leg. So I was just laying down, and I was starting to feel contractions. I was starting to feel like period cramps, and they were like at a, I don't know, I would say like a 5 or 6. It wasn't that bad. It was something that it was bearable. But I was just laying there. I was just laying on the bed. And then I don't know what I did, but I wanted to move because I was just uncomfortable in the position that I was in. And I moved my left leg, and oh my God, I wanted to die when I did that, when that happened. Because I guess what happened is, so picture this. There's a balloon inside your cervix, right? Like, I don't know how big it was, but it must have been like about, so for you to open up to 3-4 centimeters, and it must have been like, I don't know, like this. I don't know. Anyways, there's a balloon inside your cervix. Your cervix is still like this because when they insert the balloon is deflated. It's not inflated yet. So it goes in through your cervix, and then the balloon. So this is your cervix, and this is the balloon. I don't know if I'm showing that right. Anyways, this is your cervix, how it's pretty close because I was only a half centimeter. And then this is the balloon, right? So this, it's supposed to go through the cervix and open it up, right? Okay. So what they don't tell you is that you're not really going to be opening up from contractions. You're pretty much going to be making yourself open up by your leg movements. Every time I moved my leg, it would pull on that string and it would pull on the balloon, and it would force the balloon down my cervix. It would force the balloon down my cervix. Literally, that's exactly what it felt like. It felt like something was being forced down my cervix every time I moved my leg. So I was sitting there paralyzed, like I don't even want to move anymore because it hurts. Every time I move, that thing is going to come down. And then I started thinking, oh my gosh, but then if I don't start moving, or if I don't, start moving my leg or something, this thing is never going to come out. And by this point, it had already been the 2 hours that supposedly she said it was going to take about 15 to 2 hours for it to come out. No, it had already been 2 hours, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Why isn't this thing coming out? So what I did was, again, because prior to me going into labor, thank God, I did a lot of research, and let me tell you guys, do your research. And this is why I'm doing this video, because videos that I watched from other people definitely helped me while I was in labor. I remember watching this video of a lady, I don't remember who it was, to be honest, but it was a lady talking about how hospitals, they don't let you stand up. They don't let you be active during labor. Majority of hospitals, they expect you to just be laying on your back. Oh, God bless you, baby. They expect you to just be laying on the hospital bed, and you're supposed to open up if you're just laying there. You're not even making any movement. You're not being active at all. So I remember that, and I said, and I talked to the nurse, and I said, look, I said, my back is it's hurting me a lot because I had a lot of really bad back pain, and I was really uncomfortable. And I said, look, can I please get up? Can I try to walk around, see if maybe that'll help the process? And she said, well, you know what, we're not really supposed to do that, but I can let you get up and walk around here, just like around your bed. And I said, yeah, that's fine. I just want to get up. I just want to get up off this bed and to see if maybe that helps. I was at the 2 hour point, and it hurt. Oh my God, just to think about it, it hurt so bad trying to get up off that bed, because again, I had to move my legs, and every time I moved my leg, my left leg in particular, it hurt like oh my goodness, it hurt so bad, because I could just feel it. I could just feel it, like the balloon trying to like open up my cervix like forcefully, oh my goodness. Anyways, but I guess every time I moved my leg, I guess the balloon was, coming down little by little. So then once I was standing up, the pain was not as bad. Whenever I would move my leg, it wasn't as bad as when I was laying down. And I feel like the more I walked, the less it would hurt. The more I walked, the less it would hurt. I don't know if it was because my mind was a little bit more distracted that I was walking, and I don't know what it was, but it just helped. It helped so much to be able to walk around. And then I also remembered that someone said to try to do squats, try to like hold yourself onto the bed, and like bend over and like do squats, and all of that would help you dilate. So I started doing that with the balloon in me. Like after 2 hours of doing that, of walking and moving around and doing squats and all this stuff, I was still getting contractions, but it was like again, they were very mild. They were tolerable. They were like, it was like period cramps. And I said, you know what, I have to go, I have to use the bathroom, I have to use the bathroom. Like, I had to go pee, I had to pee so bad. So I go into the bathroom, and I was barely gonna like squat, you know, to pee. And as I was trying to squat, I just feel like something coming down, like coming out. And I just see that it's blood. They're like, ugh, TMI, I know. But there was like a lot of, there was blood, there was like a lot of blood, and a balloon, the balloon. And I was so excited. Oh my gosh, at this point, I was so excited. I was like, yes. I was like, finally, things are going to start moving. You know, things are going to start happening. I'm so excited. Somebody call the nurse. Go call the nurse. Tell her that the balloon came out. Just go let her know that the balloon came out. And so the balloon ended up coming out around 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. on the 5th, June 5th, 9 p.m. They ended up checking me till like around 9:50, so they came like 30 minutes later to check me. They didn't even check me like right away. 30-45 minutes later, and they checked me, and I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, you know, 4 centimeters, that's great. But they come and check me, and they're like, you're still at about 3, maybe a 4, but you're still more at a 3. And oh my gosh, I was so upset. I was so sad. I didn't even know how to feel. I was just like, what do you mean I'm still at a 3? All of this pain, and I can't even get to a 4? Come on. So they said, okay, well, now we're gonna discuss again, you know, what we're gonna do, whether this was at 9:50, okay, when they checked me. And then they said, okay, well, we can either give you again another dose of the pill, because they had only given me 1 dose. So they said we can either give you another dose of the pill, or we can start you on pitocin. And I'm sure everybody knows, and if you don't know, once they start you on pitocin is supposed to like kick labor off. Like, it's supposed to kickstart it. Like, it's supposed to not even kickstart it. It's supposed to, like, that's the time where you're gonna get, you know, the most hurtful contractions, and it's the time where you're just gonna be dying pretty much from pain once they start you on pitocin, or so everyone says, you know. So they said, we're gonna skip the pill, we're just gonna go ahead and go straight for the pitocin. And they talked to me, and they said, look, at this point, do you want to get the epidural? We can give you the epidural now, because once we start you on pitocin, you know, you're not going to be able to, those contractions are the pain, you're going to be in so much pain. I honestly, look, my plan, or my birth plan, was to do it naturally, to do it all natural, as natural as possible. I wanted to have my baby vaginally, and I didn't want to say a C-section, and I wanted to try to have him with no epidural. Just because, you know, all of my aunts have had no epidural, have had their babies naturally with no pain medication. My mom had all of us with no pain medication. So I just felt like, man, if my aunts and my mom and my grandma and so many other women have done this before, you know, I should give it a try. Like, I can at least try. So I said, no, I don't want no pain medication. I don't want no epidural right now. Let's just go ahead and start. Let's just start on pitocin. So they started me on pitocin around 10:35. So the way they do it is they start you off at 2 milliliters of pitocin, and then they bump you up like every 30 minutes. They come back and they bump you up like 2 millimeters. So they started me off at 2 millimeters. This was at 10:35. Then they actually waited a whole hour to bump me up to 4 milliliters. So an hour later, at 11:30 p.m., they increased it to 4 millimeters. Then they didn't increase it again till 2 in the morning. At 2 in the morning, oh, actually, no, just kidding. I just didn't, I didn't take notes around this time, but by 2 in the morning, June 6th, this was already the next morning, June 6th at 2 in the morning, I was at 10 milliliters already, and a pitocin, and I wasn't feeling the contractions. I mean, how can I explain this? I was feeling contractions, but they were coming very far apart, and they felt more like the period cramps that I was talking to you guys about, just period cramps, but period cramps with like a little, like with like a level or two more of intensity. That's pretty much it. And then so this was at 2 in the morning. I was at 10 milliliters. So they increased it all the way up to like, I don't know, 16, 18. Throughout that morning, they kept increasing it, and I was still not feeling them. At 7 in the morning, at 7 at night, they do rotation. So at 7 in the morning, I got a new nurse, and she came in. Oh my God, this was like the best thing ever. I mean, so I got a new nurse, and she was an older lady. She had been working there for years, for so many years. She was awesome. She comes in and she's like, okay, I want you to get up out of bed. Literally, this is what she said. I want you to get up out of bed. I want you to take a shower. I want you to brush your teeth. I want you to refresh yourself, and I want you to go for a walk. I'm gonna disconnect you from everything, and you're just go shower, go, refresh yourself again, and then just go for a walk. I'm gonna give you an hour, she said, to walk. Just walk for a full hour. She's like, hopefully, she's like, sometimes if we just restart the process, then sometimes that helps. So let's just do that. So they stopped me out. They stopped the pitocin. I took a shower and I went for a walk. This was at 8:15. At 8:15 in the morning. That again, June 6th, 8:15 in the morning. I went for a walk with my boyfriend. We were just walking in the labor and delivery department, just up and down the hall. I did that for an hour. Came back into the room. It was already 9:30 in the morning, and they started me on pitocin again. I was on the pitocin. By this time, the balloon was already out. I was already at 4 centimeters. They had tried pitocin once. Then they sent me out to walk, and then they were about to try pitocin again. And this time around, I started feeling the contractions. I actually started feeling I started feeling the contractions. They were coming closer. They were coming closer together. And this whole time, I was, again, trying to be strong. I was breathing through them. I was breathing through them, and I was trying to be strong again. I was breathing through them. I was trying to be strong, and they come and check me. They come and check me at like 12:30. So 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. They come and check me at like 12:30. Yeah, they come and check me at like 12:30, and it's been now 3 hours since they started me on pitocin again, and I'm feeling the contractions, and it's only been 3 hours, and they checked me, and it's, again, I'm still at 4 centimeters. So at this point, I was just thinking, what the heck is, what else? What's gonna happen? At this time, the last hour, I think it was like, I don't know, maybe like the last hour, like around 12 or something. I was feeling the contractions pretty strong. Like, they were actually pretty strong, and I was, breathing through them again. And then they checked me, and when they told me that I was still at 4 centimeters, I was so devastated. Like, it was oh my goodness. I honestly wanted to cry. I wanted to cry so bad. I felt like, why is this taking so long? How come it's been a full day now? Like, we're on June 6th already. It's the next day. Why? It's been already pretty much 24 hours since I got here. Why am I only at 4 centimeters? I honestly felt so devastated, and I wanted to cry so bad. I was frustrated. So the nurse came in, and she said, do you want to get the epidural? She said, because we're gonna keep bumping you up and the contractions are gonna get even worse. And by this point, it had been 24 hours. I was honestly exhausted because I was just tired. I was tired. I couldn't drink water. I couldn't eat. It had already been 24 hours, and I was still at 4 centimeters. And the last 2 hours of that I was on pitocin prior to them offering the epidural, the contractions were pretty strong, and breathing through contractions and trying to be, you know, strong through them takes so much of your energy. Like it drains you. You know, you're breathing, and every contraction lasts, I don't know how many seconds, up to a minute, and it's like, and then they stop, and then here it comes again, and then there you are again breathing, and it's just, it drains you. It's tiring, and I said, you know what, just give me the epidural, because I'm still at 4 centimeters. And I don't know, it could take another 24 hours for me to open another, I don't know, another 4 centimeters, for me to dilate to another 4 centimeters, and I'm still going to be at 8, and it's going to be 24 hours later. So because of the fact that it had taken so long for me to just dilate to 4 centimeters, I said, just give me the epidural. Just give me the epidural. So then they give me the epidural at 1:10. And then an hour later at 2:30, at 1:10 they give me the epidural. An hour later, an hour and 15 minutes later, at 2:30 they come and check me, and I'm already at 5 centimeters. An hour later. Then from 2:30 to 7 p.m. I take a nap. I took a nap because I was so tired. I was just so tired. My boyfriend was like, "Babe, you just knocked out." He's like, "You just knocked out." So I was able to sleep a little bit. And then at 7 p.m., this was still the 6th, at 7 p.m., the epidural started wearing off. Oh my goodness, the epidural started wearing off. I was in so much pain. I was telling everyone, I was like, why did I even get the epidural if it's not gonna work? You know, the epidural is not working. I'm feeling everything. I'm feeling the contractions again. Why is this happening? They came to check me, and they said that my cervix was at 90% effaced. I think that's what they call it. And pretty much what that means is that my cervix is 90% thinned out, I guess, because your cervix is thick, and once it's at 100%, that means that it's complete, like super thin or soft. I think that's what it is. So the fact that my cervix was softening up and it was thinner, and that I was 90% closer, was obviously good news. But the epidural started wearing off at 7 o'clock, and then at 7:38 I started shivering so much. I was super cold. I was shivering. I was telling them, I was like, get me blankets. Give me a warm one of those, what is it called, heated blanket. I was like, I need a heated blanket. I need something because I am super cold. Because I was really cold and I was shivering, the nurse took my temperature, and she said, "Oh, okay." She said, you have a fever. Oh my goodness. So this is what I completely forgot to put on here. So the reason why I got a fever was because they actually they broke my water. And I don't have a note here exactly what time they broke my water. Remember I said that once they started me the pitocin again, that the contractions were actually really strong towards the end, like the last 2 hours. The reason why they were stronger, it wasn't because of the pitocin. It was actually because they came in and they ruptured my water. But they broke my water. Once they broke my water, then I started feeling the contractions like more and stronger. And then I got the epidural at 1:10. I think they broke my water around like 11-ish, 11. Then again at 7, the epidural started wearing off. I was 90% effaced. And then at 7:30, I started getting chills. And then at 7:38, and then that's when they took my temperature, and they realized that I had a fever. So they started me on antibiotics. they started me on antibiotics because they had broke my water so soon, and it had already been so many hours since they broke my water. They were afraid that because they were afraid that I had gotten an infection, because once your water breaks, there's higher chances of infection. So I started getting a fever, and obviously a fever is a sign of infection. So they wanted to start me on antibiotics just in case I did get an infection. They already had me on antibiotics. So they started me on antibiotics around 7:50, and I had contractions, like horrible, really bad contractions, from 7 o'clock, the time that the epidural started wearing off, up until I started pushing. I didn't start pushing till 11:40 p.m. So 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 4 hours, almost 5 hours, because I started pushing at 11:40, so almost 5 hours with contractions. I mean, I was so upset. I was so upset. I honestly cried, because I said, why did I even get the epidural if at the end of it all, I felt the main contractions, like the main ones, the ones that are super strong, the ones that make you want to kill yourself. Like literally you want to die in that moment. I don't want to scare anybody, but you need to know what you're getting yourself into. You need to know what you're about to experience. At least for me, I felt like I was going to die. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. The doctor came in to check me like at, I think like at 11-ish. It was like around 11. She came to check me. Like 11 something. She came to check me, and she said, okay, she's like, you're at 8 centimeters. And for sure at that time, I cried. For sure at that time, I honestly wanted to rip everything off and I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know I mean, this baby had to come out one way or the other. But I was not thinking that. I was thinking, I want to get the heck out of here. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to get out of here. I got into this like a state of mind. I don't know. I honestly, they started me on oxygen because I was already getting so overwhelmed. I was just over it. I was over it. I was so tired. I was so done. This was already 11 o'clock, about to be June 7th. Like, come on. And it had been so many hours, and I wasn't able to sleep. I wasn't able to drink water. I wasn't able to eat. My stomach was growling so loud because I was so hungry. All I could think of was, I need to get this baby out because I'm starving. I want to eat. I'm starving. I'm so over this. And she comes in at around 11 o'clock, and she's like, okay, you're at an 8. And I remember telling her, you know what? I was like, I want a C-section. Just give me a C-section already, because I was in so much pain, guys. Like, in so much pain. I don't even know how to explain the pain. It was, and I was having pain, like, throughout the whole pregnancy and towards the last few months of my pregnancy, I had a really bad back pain. So I was experiencing really bad back pain from being on an uncomfortable bed for almost 2 days now. Not being able to get up, because after they ruptured my water, I couldn't get up at all. They actually inserted, I had to get a catheter in, for me to be able to pee. It's so gross. I'm sorry, TMI, but you're about to give birth if you're watching this, so this shouldn't scare you. I mean, this shouldn't gross you out. You're about to go through it. So so you can pee, so you can go pee, because once they break your water, you can't get out of bed anymore, because the nurse said that there's a risk that the umbilical cord can come out before the baby, once the water is broken, there's more infection and blah blah blah, so you just can't get up out of bed. So I was just so tired, and I just kept telling the doctor, I said, please just give me I want a C-section, please. I cannot take it anymore. I can't do this anymore. I feel like I'm gonna die. I can't take this anymore. At this point, I was being a total B to the nurses. I mean, it wasn't their fault, but I was I was just so upset because I was in so much pain. I didn't want anybody to look at me. I didn't want anybody to talk to me. I wanted nothing to do with anyone. So she checks me at 11, and I'm still at an 8. Then she comes and she checks me again, like at I would say like 11:20. I think she came to check me out like 20 minutes later, because I made the nurse, I said, tell her she needs to come and check me because and she needs to come and talk to me because I want a C-section. Tell her I want a C-section because I cannot do this anymore. I just can't do it anymore. So then the doctor comes in and she checks me again, and she's like, okay. And she's like, well, you're actually at a 9. And I was like, okay, just please let me push. Let me push already. I'm already at a 9. Just let me push. I want to push already. Let's just do this already. Like, let's just do it. Now, mind you, I didn't feel that feeling that women say they feel when they feel pressure, like they have to use the restroom, like they have to, they have to go number 2, like really, really bad. They feel pressure, and that's actually the baby coming down. I didn't feel any of that, okay? I wasn't feeling that. I just wanted to push because I wanted to get it over with. But I wasn't feeling that. So then this was like at 11:20 that she came to check me, and she said, and I asked her if I could push, and she said, no, unfortunately it doesn't work that way. Like, you have to be open up, you have to be dilated to 10 in order for you to start pushing. And she said, I'll tell you what, she's like, I'm gonna give you 20 more minutes. I'm gonna come and check you in 20 minutes, and if you're dilated, then I'll let you push. And when she told me that, when she said 20 more minutes, it felt like she was telling me like 24 more hours, like 20 more hours. Like, it felt like it was never gonna happen. My boyfriend was being so supportive. He was right there next to me the entire time. Like, he did not leave my side at all. And he kept telling me, he's like, you can do this. He's like, it's been so many hours and you're 20 minutes away from it, just hang in there, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, you don't understand what I'm going through. Like, you don't understand what I'm feeling. Like, 20 minutes, I cannot wait anymore. I can't do this anymore. I want a C-section. I just want a C-section. Just go tell her I want a C-section. And then, and so, yeah, so he was giving me, support, and he was talking to me, and he was telling me, no, you can do this. We're so close. We're almost there. You're almost there. You can't give up now. And so, yeah, I mean, the 20 minutes went by, and the doctor actually didn't even come back in. I guess she just gave the nurse that was attending me the whole time, like, I guess she just gave her the heads up, or the green light to go ahead and let me push after the 20 minutes, because she didn't even come back in. The nurse was just like, okay, let's try a practice push. She's like, let's try to practice push. And once it came down to push, like, I was so excited. I was like, yes. I was like, okay, I'm about to push. This is about to happen. Once it came down to actually pushing, my contractions started coming very far apart, like very, very far apart. So before I was getting one after another, where I didn't even have a break in between for me to like breathe through them and actually catch my breath again, and then and then go through the whole breathing process again and all of that. I didn't have a chance. I was so tired. And once it came down to pushing, once I needed them to be like one after another so this baby can come out faster, they started slowing down. So every time I pushed, because my contractions was so far apart, every time I pushed, it had to be like a good push. Like, I had to make it count. I started pushing at 11:40, and he was born on June 7th at 1:10 in the morning. So I pushed for an hour and 30 minutes. I was so tired. My energy I had no energy anymore. I was just so tired. And I was hungry. So when he was born, I was relieved. I was happy. Obviously, I was happy that, you know, that he was finally here. But I didn't get to have that magical moment where it's like, oh my gosh, you know, this is my baby, and like sink it all in, because I was hungry. I was thirsty. My mouth was super dry. I was thirsty. I was tired of where I wanted to sleep. It had been almost 3 days now. It had been almost 3 days now. It had been 38 hours. 38 hours of you know, me going through all of this, and it just drained me. It completely drained me. So when he was born, I told my boyfriend, go check on him, make sure he has 5 fingers, 5 toes, make sure that he's okay, and tell me he's okay. And so my boyfriend went. He went to go see the baby. You know, they take him from you to clean him up and stuff. And I was like, is he okay? And I just remember him telling me, yes, he's fine. You know, he's perfect. 5 fingers, 5 toes, he's good. And I was just relieved, and that's it. I was just ready to I was honestly, all I could think of was water and food. That's all I can think of. After I knew that my baby was fine, I was just thinking about water and food and sleep and rest, which till this day I have not gotten a full 8 hours of sleep since he was born, since the day he was born. So new moms out there, say bye to your sleep. You're not gonna get that back. I'm sorry. It was definitely an experience, and it was not what I was expecting. And I mean, before I even did this video, from previous, you know, research and videos that I've watched, everyone says the same thing. I had a birth plan. I wanted this to happen. I wanted that to happen. But you know what? Once you're in labor, there are so many things that not only can go wrong, but that can go, you know, again, different from what you had originally planned for. I wasn't counting on getting the epidural, but once I got the epidural, it sped things up. Like, once I got the epidural, a few hours later, I started dilating. We tried to do it without an epidural for 2 days almost, and my body just wasn't dilating on its own. So if that's what you need to do sometimes, then that's what you need to do. But anyways, that is the end of my story. That is the end of my story time. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys my baby now. He was 6 pounds 9 ounces, and he was 19 inches long, and his name is Ethan. Baby, you want to say hi? Well, he's actually trying to sleep right now, but this is my baby. Say hi, baby. Oh, he doesn't want to say hi. He wants to sleep. You want to sleep? Huh? Okay, well, anyways, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for subscribing, and for everybody who messages me, who comments on my videos. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, so good luck to any of you guys who are about to have a baby. It's a crazy experience, but it's totally worth it. And you think back and you're like, wow, like I would do it all over again, you know, if it means having my baby in my arms, you know, I will do it all over again. So yeah, best of luck to everyone, and thank you for watching.